This is 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. So I'm going to have some Overwatch gameplay being played in the background, so that way you'll have something interesting to watch. And today I'm going to be talking about the newest Batman movie that is going to be released probably in the next 2 to 3 years. I would assume that it's after Justice League and definitely after Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is supposed to be released next year. That's going to be the new Batman movie is supposed to be directed by Ben Affleck. But I think that the DC series, the DC Cinematic Universe, has been very poor up until Suicide Squad. That was a movie that really spoke with the fans, but it didn't really speak with everyone. Not as Iron Man had done, not as Thor, Captain America, and the Avengers had done. And I think that it's very simple that Iron Man and the Marvel formula for these origin stories has been very, very, very similar. If you look at Iron Man, for example, Iron Man was about how Tony Stark saw how his company had been corrupted from the inside out, and he decided to do something about it. He decided to become Iron Man and destroy his weapons that his own his own company had made, because he believed and he had saw the violence that and the devastation that his weapons had left, and had been personally affected by his own company in a very negative way. Captain America, he was just a good old American boy who just wanted to do right and who wanted to stop the Nazi regime. And even though he was skinny, and even though he would not be accepted into the military, he tried, and he became Captain America in an effort, because he knew that with his frame that he wouldn't become Captain America, not Captain America, but just a regular soldier. And it didn't start off with him fighting the Red Skull. It started off with him just, being an actor, and then he got his moment, he got his shot to save soldiers and to help out America. Thor was trying to redeem himself. He needed to just get his hammer. Most of the movie, the original Thor, was about him finding himself. I mean, this is a guy that just lost all of his powers. I mean, really, the interesting thing about Thor is that movie, before that time frame, there was not a Marvel movie that was about a hero trying to become their hero, trying to become themselves, trying to regain their powers. And Thor was fighting some form of criminality, his brother Loki. Obviously, DC should run with this idea of having some type of criminal element with Batman. And I have the perfect solution for this. And that is, you implement the Gotham mob into the newest Batman film. And I think that this would be a great aspect for Batman to fight. I don't think that there really has been a movie made by DC that has been just solely about Batman fighting the Gotham mob, specifically with Falcone. Falcone's name, I think, is in The Dark Knight was really mentioned briefly, and I think that he was at the meeting with the Joker in The Dark Knight where he smashes a guy's face into a pencil, but I don't think that he has been really an adversity, an antagonist of Batman really ever in these cinematic films. And I think that he would be a great antagonist, as a Batman Telltale series has just shown me, and as I have just played it, I will link my review of the game in the comment section down below. Now, I think that this would be a great villain for an origin story. If Batman had just come off of his training and he has donned the cowl for the first time, I think that this would be a great villain and a criminal organization for him to combat, because he's not fighting a supervillain. He's not fighting a supervillain. He's just fighting a regular criminal element for him that has been the bane of Gotham's existence for really the longest time, even back when his parents were still alive. I think that would be a great villain or not a villain, so to speak, a criminal element for him, for his origin story. if it's not an origin story, if it's there's really a couple of different ways for this not to be an origin story. It's really a year or two after he's become Batman, and he's just getting his feet wet, and he's still very new to being Batman, but he is established. People know who he is or have heard of him. I think that him fighting the criminal element during that time frame would be great, because if you remember in Batman v Superman, he's really been doing Batman for a very long time. So there's a lot of time that I think DC can implement a lot of very good low-key, as I will call them, Batman villains. Not like Joker or Bane, but people like Calendar Man, people like Falcone, the Black Mask, etc. Just criminal elements. I think that in that 10-year span of time before Batman v Superman, they can implement a lot of really good villains in it, especially in the early years. So he can still be, maybe taking down just muggers and stuff like that, and then he can move on to Falcone after about 2 years of him becoming the Batman. And if it is after Batman v Superman that they do make this movie, then they can make the Gotham mob a very powerful presence that's been elusive from Batman for the past 10 years in ways that are very obvious. They could be loan sharks offering the people of Gotham money that they cannot repay, trying to rebuild their houses. People get desperate, so people want drugs. They could be a very big supplier of drugs, especially a new drug that could be sending people into certain highs that are very lethal and very addictive as well. I think that there's a lot of room to run with a criminal organization like the Falcone mob in Gotham City in the newest Batman movie. And if you're worried about the success of the film, like with Suicide Squad, look at all of the really great Batman films, the live action ones. Batman in 1989, that was directed by Tim Burton. That was one of the best Batman films ever. And it started off with just Batman battling the criminal element. Take The Dark Knight, probably the best Batman live action film ever to be made. It was about the criminal organization in Gotham, the criminal element, in Gotham, trying to combat Batman because he is so elusive and he is so deadly with these criminals. Not deadly in a sense of lethality, but he is so deadly in stopping these criminals and so effective that they have to now call in the Joker to try and stop Batman. And that's how the movie begins. And I think that there's such a really great area. And that's where I'll leave you with this. This has been 24. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe for more. On Friday, again, I will be releasing my Game of the Year list. It's going to be a little bit weirdly described and weirdly managed, but you'll understand when I get when you'll see the video on Friday. Until Friday, have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.